Hi there, I'm Daz Smith and this is cryptoviewing. We have a fantastic mystery for you to look at this time. I'm really proud about how the remote viewers fared on this one. We have a wealth of data and I think you're going to really enjoy it. This mystery we're going to be looking at is essentially followed humans since the dawn of time. We can track back stories of this in fairy tales and in mythology going way back hundreds of years, maybe even thousands. And it essentially centers around a mythical creature akin to a goblin type creature. In fairy tales we can see that there were goblins that interacted with humans, and in some cases they even removed human children and left goblin type creatures in their stead. This can be akin to what we call modern day abductions. Now in more recent times we've seen goblin creatures portrayed in films like Lord of the Rings, and these goblin creatures have similar looks, pointy ears, and they live in underground situations. The mystery we're going to be looking at today is almost a carry-on from events that happened in the exact same area of where this occurred in the 1950s. In the 1950s there's a famous incident of some kind of creature type goblin encounter where goblins interacted with humans at their home and tried to cause them harm. The event we're going to be looking at today is a follow-on from that. It's in virtually the same area, but it's all these years later, and it's based on a series and documentary that's just been released on the internet called Hellier. Hellier is a documentary in 5 parts, each an hour long, and it details an investigations team looking into what we can only call goblin type human encounters that have happened within the vicinity at the Hellier area. The remote viewing data we got, all done blind by the remote viewers, they had no idea what this target was up front, confirms the data in the documentary. In fact, it goes a stage far than that because it gives a lot more depth and detail to some of this data. The data that we've brought up by the remote viewers give really detailed descriptions of the goblin type aliens or creatures that they encounter, the situations that happen, the humans and the duress and the fright that they go through when encountering these creatures. And not only that, the remote viewing data seems to indicate that there is a very strong possibility of a UFO advanced technology and craft type situation to this phenomenon. The remote viewers go very in depth describing a technology and a flying craft that's associated with these events. Now we're going to present the data to you for you to make up your own mind, but we do suggest as well that you follow the links that we're going to put down below all this. Have a look at the documentary. As we said, it's in a 5-part series. It's freely available on the internet. It's absolutely fantastic. The production quality is amazing. It's a really interesting documentary and it will give you some background to the remote viewing data we got here. So have a look at the data, see what you think for yourself and enjoy.
Okay, so I'm looking at Rock's remote viewing session, and he seems to have some interesting data that corroborates the previous data from Edward. He seems to have some kind of opening, which looks like it could possibly be a cave or a cave type opening. He also has quite a bit of information about different life forms in his remote viewing session. Yeah, so that's a very interesting match there. Definite corroboration there of some kind of cave system. He also has some kind of, and it looks like it's in a natural location, that as well. Yeah, so Rock definitely picked up on life form, some kind of outside location, and possibly some kind of cave entrance opening there with a really good graphic. Definitely corroborates Edward's data.
Here you can see that Rock also draws and describes 2 humans, a prominent man and a woman,
which seem to very much to resemble the main characters in the Hellier documentary. The man will be Greg Newkirk, and the woman seems to represent Dana Matthews, who is one of the researchers who appears prominently in the video.
So then we'll move on to Sita's data. Now, Sita picked up quite a lot of data about energy, which again corroborates the data that we had coming from Dick Allgire, which looks like it might have had some kind of UFO or moving craft kind of data to it. Yeah, so she picks up quite a lot of interesting data, like a crackling boom sound, sulfuric smell, looks like it's raining starbursts, metal on metal, which looks like it's warm and rippled, a crackling boom in the sky with hot temperatures. So she picks up a lot of energy data there, which could be very corroborating towards the Dick Allgire data that seemed to indicate a UFO or flying craft type technology, some kind of high technology thing there. Definitely that. Sita also picked up some very interesting data on life forms, and she felt they were human. She felt they were in some kind of, well, it looks like some kind of meditation type state. Yeah, very interesting. She thought they were being contemplating with an air of expectancy. So both those remote viewers had corroborating data to the previous two sessions as well. So that's all good for this target.
Okay, this is the video version for session or target 1901-8541. This is for my first session on January 23rd, 2019. My first aesthetic impact, or how I felt about the target, was that it was a little bit frightening. I felt something frightening. And there was like something that didn't make sense. Something doesn't make sense. The feel of it. People confused about what this target is. That there was something missing. There's a story here around this target. There's an idea that whatever this target is, not a lot of people knew about it. Not a lot of people knew about it. There was a feeling of this target taking place in a desolate area. A desolate place. It has kind of a UFO feel to it. A UFO feel to it. And I get this sense of people, a couple of people, and they're in a forest. Trees everywhere. And there's just a few people. And they're walking through a forest. There's the idea that these people are witnesses. Or they've seen whatever this target is, they've seen it. From that visual, I felt that I needed to do a movement to move to what these people experienced. And describe that. And again, I'm in this kind of desolate area. It's dark outside. There's a feeling of vulnerability. Feel vulnerable. And this sense of kind of feeling attacked. Feeling attacked. Overwhelmed. Like these people are attacked by something in a desolate area. Caught by surprise. Caught by surprise. There's a feeling of kind of either a mountainous or a forested area. There's caves. I can draw a cave here. A caved area. I wanted to go to do another movement, move to what this feeling of people being afraid like they're under attack, and I wanted to move to what is attacking these people. And to describe them, and I got this face. This kind of scary looking face. The scary face. The idea of like the idea that this was a sighting. A sighting of something unusual. Frightening. There's this feeling of not from here. Like this thing is not from here. These ideas of like it is lost in time. Like it's lost in time. It doesn't belong here. I wanted to know how did it get here? And the ideas of like it's discarded or dropped off. Like the remnants of some kind of a species. The remnants of some kind of species. And this kind of idea like this species longing for home. Longing for home. That was the first session. I did my second session done on January 25th. On this. And again, I'm in a forest. And the idea that this life form the visual was like this life form calling out into the wind, and people hearing a strange sound. People hearing a strange sound, like a screeching sound. A screeching sound. And the aesthetic, or how people who hear this, they hear this and they feel afraid. People are afraid by this. These strange communications, I want to know, what is this life form communicating? What is being communicated? And there's this feeling of waiting for a response. Again, a longing feel, concern, type of thing. I get the feeling that this longing, like these creatures are a little bit lonely in some way. I get the sense that they're unkept. And the idea is that they're needing to be cleaned up. They need to be cleaned up. They're kind of unkept. And again, I'm getting this face. The head is like tilted. Tilted head. Kind of an angry look. And and the feeling I get, kind of feel sorry for it. Then I wanted to take a look and move through time to when this life form was not alone. Move to a time when this life form didn't feel alone, and I got this circular object. I'll try to draw these out as best I can. Kind of a strange bodied creature. I don't know if I'll be able to draw it as well on the board. But these kind of strange creatures here. And this guy here. And they're kind of moving around. And I get this feeling they're from somewhere else. They're from somewhere else. I don't know when. I wanted then to describe the physical characteristics. And again, I got the big creepy face. And a tilted head. You know, kind of when it's, it's really intense. Intense eyes. Strange, very intelligent. Strong. Vocal. Getting some ideas about its mind. Telepathic. Prophetic. These are more elements of its mind. The mind also I wanted to look at how this life form perceives time, and it had this mental sense of timelessness. Mental sense of timelessness. An unusual way of processing information. An unusual way of processing information. It's a very interesting life form. This gave me this idea of this creature with this kind of, this is the mind element, timeless. Timeless mind is very strange. There was this a hollow feeling in the mind. Very unusual mind. There was this sense that it can disappear. They can disappear. And also, these are more kind of on the emotional side, but this, I was getting this feeling of it. It's kind of misunderstood. Kind of misunderstood. And intelligent. And it's terrifying to look at. Terrifying to look at. But there's an element about it that where I feel a bit sad for it. Like it's not understood. It's in the wrong place. You know, in the wrong place. And that's target 1901-8541.
Target 1901-8541. This is tasked by cryptoviewing, so I know it is under the auspices of the group. I'm blind to the target. I have no idea what it might be as I sit down to work. Most of the data on this target was collected while in S5 ERV, altered state type remote viewing. So as I cooled down, images started flashing in my field of vision. First, a circular shape, something spinning. The idea that it whirs, has a high RPM, involves precision engineering, a mechanical thing. Next, I saw streaks of energy, red in color, streaking across my visual field. Machinery swam into my vision, something very complex that made me think of a transmission. It was too complex for me to capture and remember in the few fleeting seconds that I saw this. This seemed enclosed in a larger structure. People or life forms, moving, active, I get an intense feeling that they are involved in something with an intensity about it. Still not yet in the formal remote viewing session, I see a thrust of energy. And then a bright cloud of energy that feels like it's being pulled or sucked into a vortex, compressed, funneled, and focused. And finally, glowing purplish, bluish, white-colored plasmas that take shape in my field of vision, and then they change shape, coalesce, and move, leaving trails. Cooldown complete and the visuals recorded as notes and sketches, I head to a full paper session. At a desk now with pen and paper, alert consciousness using the structure protocols of collection. I first see a brief shape, a person who seems to be seated. Probing ideograms, I sense something complex, semi-soft, artificial, and dynamic, as well as hard, man-made, and static. In the Playfair Collection matrix, I perceive a triangular shape, humming sounds, metallic smells and tastes. Inside an enclosed space, a human-like form looking at complex things, a low hum, electronic smells. I see a large structure with angular components, humming sounds, ozone smells, metallic texture, a texture of polymer. Next page, still in alert consciousness, a complex structure in motion, someone inside, stale-smelling air, metallic. I sense this structure might be in space. It is rotating and humming. Expanding on data from that page, I draw something very complex, metallic with electrical components. It moves at a rate that envelops it in a cloudy plasma. Assembling all of this into a site sketch, a metallic triangular structure, a larger structure, enclosed, complex angular lines to it, enclosed things, mechanical things, inside with life forms. Next, the concept of an enclosed bubble like a transparent shield. The idea that it's like a pod or aircraft, humming, mechanical smells, stale human smells, ideas of observation to catalog, secure mission, prototype. A further look at the triangular shape, and I see this graceful cross between a triangle and a boomerang. Graceful lines, it hums and buzzes, ozone smells, it's powered, performance. Humans are life forms grouped. They seem weightless, interacting with complex things with a lot of items or designs. They are focused, working, intent, and serious. I hear a steady hum in the background. I sense a bay, a docking bay or a working bay. Electrical smells here. These are curious, they're working, they're problem solving, reporting in, mission oriented, seeking clues, scientific, smart, and mystified. Again, I see some type of energy like many shooting stars, bright flashes and streaks. This now seems to be a different location, a big place, a lot of people, electronics, a big wall or window or a display surface. All of these people are life forms focused on one thing, one event. Now, still working in this conscious state with quick timeouts for visual contact, I see an enclosed space with complex machinery. This is tight. Things are stacked and fitted in. It feels like the hold of a ship or a submarine or a cargo space in an airliner. And then I see a data storage system. Records are hidden. Files cannot be transmitted. If sent, someone would be in serious trouble, not allowed to show or share these certain files or images. This involves big data, a storage system, very secure, feels like the NSA facility in Utah. Dark, dim, big, sterile, secure. And now for the final portion of the session of the remote viewing on this target, into full ERV experiential. It takes 10 to 12 minutes to get my state into a mental place where visuals start to form. I have to adjust or synchronize to the signal line. My awareness seems to have to match the frequency of the visual, and then if I do that, I can see it for about 10 to 20 seconds at a time. A complex mechanical structure is hit by a mass of blue-white plasma energy. It energizes the structure by enveloping it. Then everything winks out. Both the energy and the structure disappear. Back up to alpha consciousness, aware of being in a room, lying there looking for target imagery. And this forms up. Okay, I saw this guy, honestly. a cliche, but a very interesting and clear visual. I did see him. I have to stop and draw that. It takes me another 10 minutes to go back into full theta awareness to sync back up. And all of a sudden I see people, and they're surprised. They turn their head. I'm surprised, and we're all startled. They're caught in a beam. They look over, and everyone here is wondering, what's that? Looking around, I seem to be in a wooded area at night, the thought of something secretive. Now I see people sorting through something, like examining things, but I sense what they're examining is a pile of soggy things, like wet leaves, rubbish. I'm unable to make sense out of this. The attempt to consciously figure that out bumps me off target. I have to relax back down into the target frequency. Now a woman, wide-eyed with fright, mouth open, but the thought occurs to me, they don't cause trauma, but they do cause alarm. And then in the same instant, I see a large bird, like a crow, feeding, and the thought occurs to me, this could be a mask or an implanted memory. I'm being made to see this. This is nonsensical. So I'm trying to look through it, and now this creature pops in, a very intense, almost frightening being with really intense eyes, a bad attitude, a long tongue. I see the tongue. He has scales, sort of a reddish or rusty color. I am able to later sketch him almost without trying. If I try to draw him again to do a better job, I can't. The first time captured it, the essence, as well as I'm able to do it. Okay, recovering from that takes me a few more minutes to cool back down. I'm about 60 minutes into the ERV part of the session. I awake to a place where I see mountains, very rugged hillsides, steep, forest all around, thick forest, spooky, secluded, an eerie, desolate, closed-in feeling. The last thing, a human form lying down. I see a glowing area, like a gland or energy point, just behind the forehead. This allows someone or something to remove and exchange souls. As this concept percolates in my consciousness, I realize that's the end of this session, and I have to quickly record everything.
Okay, so now you've seen the video, what do you think? What do you think the remote viewers viewed? To me, it looks like they absolutely nailed the target. They nailed the beings, they nailed the environment and location, they nailed the underground cave system and all that was happening there. If you have a look at the Hellier documentary, you'll see that the entire area has underground cave systems, and these creatures do seem to be associated with caves or seem to be coming in and out of cave systems. Not only that, the remote viewers come up with absolutely fantastic details of advanced technology and some kind of flying craft type UFO system. And we do know from the Hellier documentary as well that they have had UFO sightings in the area of this phenomenon. So there's the data, make up your own mind, but as we've said, we think it's a cracking hit and we hope you enjoyed it. Take care and thank you for supporting us.